Good afternoon. I'm Bob Buchel, the Director of Business Development with PA Group USA. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about supply chain and what impact technology, specifically Dynamics AX, can have on the productivity of your warehouse and logistics operations. What is your supply chain? Typically, businesses have had a one-sided view of their supply chain. It is commonly viewed as the ability to source product in a timely manner to supply downstream processes. Often, your warehouse and logistics operations are overlooked as critical parts of your supply, but rather as the value chain or overhead required to facilitate sales. More often than not, you've heard the term just in time as a purchasing or manufacturing strategy, but still the focus remains on having product in the warehouse at the right time, never mind the internal operational effort it takes to maintain this strategy. This has become an overused term in business because the practical application of a just-in-time strategy really doesn't work, as it is subject to many unpredictable aspects that can derail the flow of goods. Of course, attempts are made to get close to maintaining the strategy, but more often than not, you end up with a surplus or a deficit of inventory, and the fulfillment side of your supply chain suffers. All things considered, just-in-time has evolved from a strategy to a largely unattainable goal. Without help, we cannot control or even lack the ability to manage the risks of each individual link in the supply chain. As mentioned earlier, we have become overly focused on the purchasing side of our supply chain and tend to neglect those downstream operational processes like manufacturing, warehousing, and transportation that are arguably just as important as purchasing, often referred to as the value chain. For instance, if purchasing were to go with a non-preferred vendor due to price, potential minute differences in the raw material can have incredible impact on your operational efficiencies, thus affecting your ability to fulfill. The company as a whole cannot remain profitable just by making strategic purchasing decisions. This diminishes the value operations, like warehousing, has within the business and how drastically it can alter your supply getting to its ultimate final destination. Further, your supply chain doesn't necessarily end with operations. It is broader than that. It becomes the ability to forecast or anticipate, react, manage, and fulfill effectively to changing market demand while still maintaining value or profitability for the company. It's this ability to fulfill that completes your supply chain and will drive the continuation of business into the future. An end-to-end supply chain solution can help us manage the different aspects of our business, like time and cost, to provide the best overall value to both the company and customer. Often, limitations in understanding the time aspect of the supply chain, like lead times, transportation, or customer deadlines, turn into extra costs for the company in the form of expedited shipping or demurrage charges, which inevitably leads to less value. Risks such as vendor lead time or quality differences force us to choose the vendor with more favorable lead times at the expense of lower quality. This subsequently results in us providing lower value to the customer and reduces loyalty. Without loyalty, we cannot complete our supply chain. The same issue regarding quality, if not communicated properly throughout the organization, can have other downstream effects like manufacturing difficulties. We operate in many industries and oftentimes on dated machinery, which, for no other reason than because it just doesn't work on this machine, we encounter manufacturing issues with our supply, thus preventing us from delivering on time, possibly charging the customer less, and adjusting machinery all at the expense of value. Delays in the visibility of inventory prevent us from making accurate sourcing decisions, leading to inventory issues like over or under supply, which has a direct correlation to value. Businesses struggle with what methods to use to reduce cost without affecting the customer's perceived value of their product. Other cost-saving measures are employed by companies to maintain profitability by taking longer inventory strategies and taking advantage of economies of scale. But many businesses are hesitant to employ technology due to the costs, risks, or organizational change to enforce these strategies. If operations could utilize prioritized picking routes or take advantage of an organized shop floor, we now can make the best use of the resources before us to streamline business. What companies need is a solution that gives them full end-to-end access to their supply chain. The 3 T's of supply chain management, trust, transparency, and time, are the foundation on which strategic supply chain professionals attempt to manage. In the world of supply chain management, these concepts are difficult to bring under one roof because oftentimes you can have 2 of the options but not the third. We have transparency. The vendor has accepted our purchase order and sent confirmation, also providing us a delivery date, time, but our trust is minimal due to a history of late shipments or us anticipating shipping issues. The associated risks in your supply chain can be a laundry list of items, from weather conditions, different shipping companies, quality issues, customs, restrictions, regulations, maintenance, the list goes on. As long as these risks float around your business without structure to communicate and build trust and transparency, there is no real way to grow and react to changing conditions. However, the beacon on the horizon is that even though we understand that we can never fully manage all of those risks, we can start to assume responsibility and control of our supply chain digitally that will help make a difference over time and build trust. Technology unifies these areas into one central location. Technology solutions designed to enforce best practices and to provide structure will help manage the variables of time, trust, and transparency. Technology allows businesses to gain the appropriate insight into their supply chain, which will empower them to take control of business processes or practices that have been fledgling in the past. With control and a repeatable model, growth can then occur and new challenges accepted. Transparency here is the key word. The ability to see real-time data and inventory, their status, their movements, their locations, to have traceability, to be able to research user interactions, provides the ability to focus your business to make the straight connection from point A to point B in the most time and cost-efficient manner. Success in these areas builds trust in your business and will increase your availability or time to expand. The ability to evolve, adapt, develop, or grow, whichever term best fits your business, is a function of time. It does not just occur organically around sound business processes, but requires a catalyst like technology to facilitate that growth. The ability to effectively leverage technology in this digital era, whether it be cloud computing, the Internet of Things, or even something as simple as the introduction of mobile devices into a warehouse to get rid of paper, gives companies the ability to mitigate risks that were once not transparent, like disruptions in your supply chain where you can be proactive rather than reactive with visibility of your on-hand, allocated, or in-transit inventory. Accurate reporting reduces the need to double-check work, freeing up time to take on new challenges. Time savings with managed business processes allows more inventory to move through the warehouse. Quality issues can be stopped early in the process rather than after it's too late. Technology that provides structure propagates the ability to control cost, allowing you to outpace your competitors and generate broader access to growth opportunities. Expansion into new markets or additional budget for research and development will give you the flexibility to take advantage of your competitors' deficiencies. Growth is good for business. For the demo portion of this webinar, I will show you 2 of the tools available in Microsoft Dynamics AX to manage your supply chain. First, I will show the ability to rate shop and assign the best freight rate to a sales order through the transportation management functionality. This is to help control cost and provide accurate information to you and your end customer, creating customer loyalty through the sales process. Second, I will highlight the flow of inventory through the system with Dynamic AX's warehouse management functionality. This tool provides the transparency in inventory management to control and provide real-time movements, building trust and accuracy in the system. The following scenario is taking place through customer service. On the current sales order, the customer service rep is on the phone with the customer and is taking their order. After verifying the customer's shipping address, the customer asks how much shipping will be for the order. In some cases, where the business systems are not integrated, the customer service rep has a couple of options. One, they could check a flat rate cost from a file on a corporate drive. Two, they could put the customer on hold and call the shipping department and ask for a rate. Or three, they could give the customer an estimate that may not be accurate. The issues with any one of those three options could be many, and then in turn you add the possibility of human error. With the integrated transportation management functionality of AX, the customer service rep can react quickly and accurately to the question by accessing the transportation functionality of AX. The customer service rep can rate shop in real time. By rate shopping the current order, the customer service rep is presented with a list of options that provide different shipping methods. This is the same information that is available to the shipping department. So with one unified system, you're able to communicate clearly and effectively internally and to the customer. Now, when this order is released to the warehouse for picking, the freight rate is already associated to the order, and all parties have an accurate view of the cost and delivery of the order. Through the integrated nature of transportation management and Dynamics AX, the company has transparency into their data, building trust by knowing that displayed information is accurate company-wide. We'll come back to the shipping portion of transportation management shortly. Functioning as a downstream process of order taking, the following scenario takes place in the warehouse. Once the sales order has been released to the warehouse, the picker is notified of work that needs to occur systemically and not through paper or a phone call. Right now, I'm displaying a work ticket, but this can be an electronic notification to a device. The worker who's been notified can go over to his mobile device and log in to perform this work in the warehouse. The mobile device functionality included in Dynamics AX is a highly configurable web-based interface that is applicable across many devices, say for instance a Surface tablet. The warehouse worker is able to log in, providing traceability, and is presented with a menu of options. Before we move forward with the picking, let's talk a little bit about the picking routes and the ability to structure work in the warehouse. On the left side of my screen, you see that I have 4 work items for the warehouse. If I select the first work, you can see that I have a directed pick and a directed put to ship this order out. Included in that is 2 steps. If we look at additional work in a different warehouse, potentially for a different worker, I have 4 steps to complete the work. What this does is allows me to control the structure, who, what, and where the picking occurs in the warehouse, creating a repeatable, standardized process. So let's take a look at the work ticket that we're going to be fulfilling. On the left side of the screen, I'm going to be displaying my on-hand inventory in the warehouse. And on my RF device, I'm going to be choosing outbound work. The picker is able to be notified of the work, can scan the work ID or a license plate ID, and continue with his directed picking. On the screen, you can see that I have a sales order pick, and the picker is being directed to the primary pick location. Physically, in the warehouse, the picker is walking to this particular aisle, rack, shelf, bin, and license plate, wherever this is on the warehouse, and is able to select the license plate of where this inventory is coming from. So on the left side of my screen, you see the on-hand inventory. We're in the appropriate site. We have the item that we are selecting. We see that it has an inventory status of available, and it exists currently on license plate bulk 06. Physically, in the warehouse, the picker is scanning this license plate. The RF device recognizes that the user is picking this inventory from the license plate and is asking for a target license plate. In this particular scenario, the picker is carrying a moving cart or some other type device to load this item from the shelf. Once the user has told the system that they've loaded that, you can see that AX in real time recognizes the license plate that was just used to take that inventory. So now you can see on our on-hand inventory, we have the license plate cart 12345 with 20 on it that was just selected. Now the user physically walks that cart over to the staging area and puts that location there. You can see that the work is completed on the RF device. If we look at our on-hand inventory and the license plate has now been moved to the staging location. This real-time availability of information that allows you to follow inventory through the system improves that trust in the system. The next step in the process is to perform the sales loading. From this screen, the user is able to select the license plate that is getting ready to ship out in the staging location, scans the license plate, AX recognizes the inventory. You've picked this inventory, and now AX is asking you, where are you putting this inventory? And it is directing you again to the bay door in the prioritized picking route. The picker then takes that inventory physically over to the bay door, loads it on the truck, and completes the pick. AX gives you a work completed. You can see the inventory has been moved to the bay door and the license plate. Now that the inventory has been successfully moved through the warehouse and all through the integrated warehouse functionality of AX in real time, our response time can be faster and more accurate and will allow us to fulfill more customer orders in less time. Going back to the sales order, to finalize the shipping of this order, from the sales order that we just picked, we can view the shipment details. We can see that the shipment status has been loaded. We can check the work details that were just completed, the steps that it went through to get to the bay door. You can see that the work status has been closed. And now the shipment can be confirmed. You can see that the shipment has been confirmed, and now the customer service rep can notify the customer. I want to thank you for attending this webinar on how a scalable technology like Dynamics AX with the warehouse management and transportation management capabilities to manage your supply chain can empower your business. The expertise of the PA Group, coupled with the powerful platform of Dynamics AX and our own uniquely tailored industry solutions like case packing, roll management, and machine monitoring that work seamlessly with AX, can provide the business genius paving the way to new growth opportunities. If you have any questions, I'd like to open up for discussion. If there are no questions, then please feel free to reach out to myself or anyone else at the PA Group by visiting our website. We would be happy to hear from you.